Hey, welcome back to the Scorpio channel. So I was on a little earlier before, but got a new computer. And because I got the new computer, what wound up happening is all the controls were off. And because the new computer uses your finger, when I went to do log back on a new computer, it didn't let me. So I am about, I'd want to say, a half an hour late. And this reading was supposed to be for my winner. However, if you land on it, know that you resonate with it. You're going to resonate with it because, again, the universe works like a magnet. It brings you people, situations, and experiences that teach you about yourself. So I was kind of wondering, what is this energy? And I kind of feel like the energy was that everything was so difficult, right? So I'm feeling like whoever I'm tapped into, they feel like everything is so difficult. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong, and so is going wrong for them. So this is the energy that I am tapping into. So again, there's never any mistakes. We're a mirror, a magnet of who and what comes into our life. So again, this message was really supposed to be for my winner, but I'm feeling like the energy right now is really turbulent. I also feel like you're connected to somebody that doesn't just have everything's going wrong. I feel like they're getting more and more and more anxiety. So you're, like I said, a mirror of whom what comes into your life. So there's always a reason why, even when our relationships don't work out, we have to understand, why didn't they work out? What are we supposed to learn? This is why I do these type of readings, shadow readings, because we wind up in a relationship where we really have a strong connection, and then the person hurts us. The person that we perceived was our person actually betrayed us. What are we supposed to learn? Why did that experience happen? Did the person never really care? There's a lot of thoughts that race through our mind when we're in a relationship that I want to consider a karmic or a trauma bond. Those relationships are the ones that are going to bring the most pain. Hey Kim, you're here for my reading, right? Because I've been waiting. I'm waiting for my winner. And I said, I was on just before and there was no sound on my new computer. And then I had to get on and find my laptop. And of course, the laptop was asking me for my finger, I said, because the new computer asked me for my finger. It scans it. Well, I don't have that on here. So of course I said, anything that's going wrong is actually going wrong. I said, this means something for someone. Again, that anytime, anytime, like, and understand that energy is what creates the most anxiety. So I said, I feel like it's either you or your person is like, has a lot of anxiety right now. And so I'm kind of feeling it's your person. And I feel like it's not just because you are in separation from your person, but that's the cherry on the ice cream. It's whatever this person is going through. So I said, everything happens for a reason. And I came on a half an hour late. You had to see me go from one computer to another computer to another computer, trying to log on. And I just felt like no matter what I was doing, it wasn't working. And I was getting more and more anxiety to the point that I was like, I just had to be like, fuck it, and and a lot of times that's what happens. So understand, people, if you're new to the channel, this is a shadow healing channel. So I do look and see what's going to happen within your relationships, and I do look at what goes on the surface of your life, but we do focus more on the shadows because it's a healing channel, and healing means that you have to see a different perception of your situation. You have to understand what you need to do to actually transmute the negative energy. Because since we're energy beings, you're a spiritual being having a human experience, and your energy is made up of your consciousness and your emotions. So when we have a spiritual block, It's not just held in the mind, but it's actually held in the body as stress. We become a magnet of who and what comes into our life. And our behaviorisms are in alignment with those shadows, with those blocks. So when we change the dynamic of who we are, we bring in different energy to us. We attract different energy to us. This is how we can evolve into a higher state of consciousness and actually attract the people and things and situations into our life that are supposed to be in our life. So, again, it's a healing style. So, if you wind up listening and resonating with this, know that if you want to enter into winning a free reading, more than welcome. However, the reading is going to be partially shadow and it is always done live because I believe in spiritual law. What's best for everyone? What's best for you? You get a free reading. What's best for me? I expose the channel. And what's best for the universe, whoever finds it, and again, is able to apply the information into their life. You can't just get rid of negative energy. You can only transmute it. And you are the alchemist of your life. That means psychologically, you have to figure out what is the block, number one. So when you're dealing with a person and you're looking at their blocks, it helps you to understand why they're doing what they're doing. And it also allows you to say, well, that shit's not mine, that's yours. And you're able to not be gaslit. You're able to have a really good discernment where you're able to shape shift the situation because there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on what you do. So my readings are not just yes or no. So they're wordy. So if you're someone that doesn't like wordy, this is not going to be your channel. Can I believe I was the first viewer? I am in a new cycle. There has been a lot. See, but it's not a coincidence. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I feel like you're leveling up. I feel like you're leveling up, but you're and understand when you level up, you're kind of in a lone space. You're like, where is everybody? And it's like mainly because you outgrew certain people and certain people didn't, resonate with. And and that happens when you put a lot of work into yourself. So that's a really good thing. However, always have people that tend to like to linger. So I have a feeling that that's what the reading is, that there's a little bit of anxiety, obviously, about what's going to happen in your life in the future. And the problem is that you do have trauma, meaning there has been experiences that you've gone through that have made you feel not safe, inadequate, and all those things with relationship and other areas of your life. So again, you're the alchemist of your life. So if you have a question, you can feel free to write it in the description box. Otherwise, I am just going to channel for you. Now, you resonated with what I told you so far. Again, that's about the knowledge. You're all in a place of knowledge is not just learning what you need to learn within your craft, but I feel like when you evolve into a higher state of consciousness, you understand why things are happening, even when there's no logical explanation, right? So the no explanation, it's just a knowing. That's why. And that's your spirit. So you've come into a place within your evolution because I do feel like you're in a new cycle. And how do we get to a new cycle? Well, it obviously means that you got rid of certain people, that you've gone through, you've finished with school, you're finished with some venture that you've done. And also that you're just transitioning. Like what you notice is a lot of the old is falling out of your life. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because we're down here to evolve. And especially if you didn't like your life. And at one point you didn't like your life. I'm not going to lie. And that's what this is. The guidance from your spiritual ancestors. I don't say, oh, it's your grandmother that comes through. It's again, the guidance is the karma. When you have inherited your ancestral karma from your ancestors. That's the wisdom that they brought you. So when you have were born into very wounded families. So, like for instance, my father was an alcoholic, and he had cancer 9 times. So I accumulated a lot of his karma, because again I inherited his behaviorisms, his habits. You also inherited your, I feel like your grandmother's sensitivity, your grandmother's, like, again, the way that she I feel like you're very detail oriented. You can tend to be a perfectionist at a lot of times, but only really with yourself. Otherwise, you really easy going, and then what happens is it's like you're like, okay, well then why do I feel this way? And I feel like it's because you were raised by someone that wasn't as like I sensitive. And so when you're brought up by someone that's not sensitive, but you're sensitive, and there's a sense of not feeling that you fit in, not feeling like you feel different. So when you feel different, what happens is it's like we're not as grounded. So the sensitivity really is the fact that you do tap into all your senses all the time. But the thing is, you can get overstimulated. This is the inheritance from your grandmother. And so, again, sensitivity is actually a spiritual gift. But if you don't master it, it becomes a curse. And in your earlier years, it was definitely a curse. And it was a curse because you overgave. You overgave, and in that, when you're sensitive, you want to treat people the way you want to be treated. It's only normal. But in that, people don't act the same way, and this is where you felt inadequate. It's not that you felt inadequate because you were raised by people that made you feel inadequate. Some people do. By the way, Annabelle, hello, and A, whoever you are, hello. Um, welcome to the channel. Yes, I know, but there's an A above you. I know that you're Kim. Oh, I thought you said I have. Yeah, well, I feel like that's the thing. It's like spiritual people didn't just get spiritual from, you know saying, "Oh, I'm called to spirituality." It's mainly because they went through experiences that made them go deep within inside of themselves. And people tend to either make it out of inspiration or desperation. It's also the environment. So it's the spiritual people are sensitive people. And so what the thing is that it's all paradox. So with every gift, spiritual gift, also comes a curse, because you need to master that curse, that wound, that inheritance, in order to become a real spiritual person. Otherwise, you're just someone that studies spirituality. And I feel like you're absolutely right. That's what I was saying. You do come from a very strong maternal lineage because they had to teach themselves. And it's because they didn't go through easy times. And I feel like they were hardworking, and they acquired those higher states of consciousness that way. And they expected you to have that too. But it didn't mean that you didn't struggle with the physical world, aspects of the physical world, which is not everybody's spiritual, not everybody's sensitive. And that is what made you feel how you felt when you were younger, which I think also pushed you into the healing realm of wanting to do healing work and really wanting to connect deeply with people. It's definitely not a surface thing. However, relationships have always been a problem, and it's because you used to overgive, and then after that you didn't overgive, but you don't have surface, you don't do surface. So when you care, you really care, and you tend to, like you said, get hurt. You find that you don't connect deeply, or you attract people that are afraid of that, like going so deep. So that also tends to make us not feel comfortable because you're like, I like to go deep. I like that, to really feel intimacy, to really experience life. And what you know from dating is that a lot of people are just surface. And so that traumatizes us. You may not think that it does, but it does, especially if you're a sensitive person. So the issue is, well, how do I create balance? How do I how do I feel comfortable? And that's always, we have to develop ourselves first. And that's for you, because you're sensitive. I feel like it is to train your nervous system somewhat, because sensitivity means that you can pick up outside stimuli and then just react without thinking. So then you get in your own way, and that's very common for a highly sensitive person. So this again is what makes you feel like not adequate, and you're concerned about certain things with business. Really, it's like you're a serious person. I feel like you're good at what you do. That's not the issue. The issue is that not really seeing so much, like and that happens when, meaning you get inspired, your creative vision. It's like waiting for somebody to give you a promotion or waiting for something to happen without doing it. Like, it's not, it will never happen that way. It happens when we apply our spirituality to our life. What you're really doing is integrating. You're correct. I am also trying to find a well, I feel like that's an unfoldment process for you. Again, don't be too mental. When highly sensitive people begin to overthink, it's the worst thing. So in the Bible, it says, be like childlike. And there's a reason for that, because children don't have any expectations of anything. They just go out and they say, oh, I'm going to meet my friend today. Oh, and on the way that I met my friend, I found this cardboard box. And that box became my friend's my treehouse. I dragged it to my friend's house. My friend said, what's that? And I'm like, oh, that's my treehouse. Then my friend helps me drag the box, and they find something else. And we wind up playing in that until it rains. And then we go out and we discover you need to do this, meaning you don't know. So you're like, I'm trying to find. How do you try and find? You can't find, you have to embody it. It's again, as a highly sensitive person, there's this knowledge that we know, and it has to feel right. And so when you find your purpose, it's an actual unfoldment process through the passions that you love. And so you don't invest enough in that. I feel like you'd be a great holistic, like, nutritionalist, someone that is, because I feel like you like to do everything like to the book. I am not like that way. I'm a wing it type of girl, which is why I came on like half an hour late today, because again, God decides to throw me a curveball every once in a while where I'm like, fuck. And God's like, you're not grounded. And it's like where there's a process. You like the process. You like that methodical. If I'd have to say, you're more of a left brain psychic, or left brain, sensitive, somebody that is, again, very intuitive. But again, you need to do it. Well, I feel like that is, again, that's the transition, but I feel like you don't know who you are. And that's what spirit is really saying. It's like, how can you make a decision when you don't know who you are? It's like that life died. You even said it yourself. Like when I said you're like changing, everything's changing right now. You're like, yeah, I'm in a transition. Yeah. So you know that. So that doesn't mean that whatever you choose is going to be permanent. And that kind of scares you, because you're like, I kind of like permanency. And spirit's like, no, you don't. You like it for like a moment and then you get bored. It's like, but highly sensitive people tend to like to live safe. Thank you, zombie, by the way. Um, so, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like you're afraid of the actual process. You feel like you need to know everything before it actually happens. Life is a co creation process. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. God says, don't do my job, do your job, be like childlike. Get in your body and go and explore. And that's going to take a process too, because what did I say? The issue is not the spiritual, it's more of the physical world, things that you need to integrate. But it's like, I don't know, it just feels awkward. And spirit says, you know what, Kim, you feel awkward. You think you feel awkward. You're at a place. And you're like, well, again, I'm in transition. And spirit says, get out of your mind, get into your body, join things. Only in the now do you get divine guidance. Train your nervous system. You need it. That's how we opened the reading, Spirit said. That's how we opened. That was the most important. And it's because anxiety. And so again, I need to know. I don't know. I don't trust myself. I don't. Spirit says it's not. You do trust yourself. It's like trust comes from, again, like going through a situation and then seeing a good experience. Do you get nervous? Yes, but that's why there's practices like breath work. That's why there's practices like yoga. That's why there's practices like samana healing. Spirit says you need to do these type things. When I say holistic coach and into nutrition, I feel like, again, every when I graduated holistic health school, we opened up every our sessions with a 2-hour yoga practice, because you have to train the body in order to train the mind. Otherwise, the body tends to be overstimulated due to just environment. It's not a one size fits all. We all don't think the same. We all don't process the same. We don't. And when you're sensitive, it seems like it's slower. And it is slower because you're more thorough. It's that you're scanning everything, which is why you're intuitive. So thank you so much, Annabelle. Um, so it's to me, it's about getting a better acquaintance to your physical body, learning to love yourself in a way that's not just like I love myself and I'm going to go, shopping. This is I love myself, so I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to, you know, do a yoga practice, do a breath work, even though I don't feel like it. Then I might go on Udemy or an online platform that teaches a lot of different classes, because I don't want to spend a ton of money. You start where you are and you use the resources that are there. This is a root chakra imbalance, and you had this way before your relationship. Is it happened again growing up in the house that you grew up in? So it didn't mean that people didn't love, but there was problems. There was so understand this is about you getting strong within yourself and understanding you create the support, because the support comes from being able to trust yourself. That spirit lives inside of you. That's not just my gift, that's your gift. That's every single person that listens to this. Every single person in the world has spirit inside of them. It's our connection to each other. It's called empathy. You wouldn't have empathy for someone else if you didn't have that. You wouldn't think, oh my God, that's horrible what happened in Japan. Did you see that tsunami? Did I have to go through it? No. It's devastating to watch somebody get persecuted because of what they look like, because of this, because of that, because of the it's your heart bleeds if you have a spirit. When you're so spiritually blocked, your heart doesn't bleed. That trauma does that. So understand, you again have to train that spirit to be inside of you. Otherwise, again, you can't live in an environment where you up in your head all the time, racing, trying to figure it out, and trying to figure out what are you trying to figure out. Spirit says, you're doing my job again. I see that, Kim. You're doing my job. You don't know how to drive the bus, though. The bus keeps going off the cliff. It's like you got to let spirit guide you. And that's by being able to get comfortable in your body. And you're not comfortable in your body. So right off the bat, we got a problem. So this is, I don't trust myself. And spirit says, that's just me telling you, we don't trust ourselves because of that, when really you can. So you take the time to create a daily practice for yourself where you do breath work. You do, if you need to do tapping, you can do all these classes. You can get these services on, watch YouTube, run it through. It's like, And I feel like, well, and they right, and that's a beautiful thing that that your sensitivity and your creativity and all those other things that you're blessed with. Everybody has spiritual blocks. We wouldn't be here on the physical plane. We're here to learn and to manifest, and we're learning whether we're not separate from God, which is just unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe. However, again, when we have so much trauma, it's like we don't love ourselves, and then we can't love other people. And so we always want to start getting with ourselves first. Set yourself up for success. And so again, you should have a vision board. Do you even have dreams, ideas? I don't really know. Well, it's again, so where's the target? Where's the target? Where are the small goals and the long-term goals? Spirit says you have a root chakra in balance. And I have to tell you, because otherwise there would be a sense of, I don't really know what I'm doing and I don't really know I'm safe. So what, you're going to meet someone? Yeah, you'll meet somebody, but they're going to be the same energy as you. And unfortunately, scared energy pulls people that are narcissists to you. Scared energy pulls people that are not of the highest vibration because, again, of their trauma. So you want to get clear, you want to get strong, and you want to have discernment and understand those people set themselves up for success. There's never been a poor man that rolls out of bed at 11 o'clock. There's never been a poor man that, you know, I mean, there's never been a rich man. There's been many a poor man that gets up at 11 o'clock. They don't get up at all in actuality. But, it's, you got to have a day before your day and you have to train yourself because I believe other people affect you a lot where they can say something, and if they didn't say it, then now you're nervous. And so there's a little bit of that there. And so where you want to try and build a strong a strong like sense of self, and you build a strong sense of self by getting strong with your body and deal with, because it's not what happens, it's how you deal with what happens. And you want to be able to have short-term goals and long-term goals. And then you want to get on the internet. Again, use the things that are in your environment, because Father up in heaven works through you, works through the environment to bring you the people, things, and situations that are going to change your mind and your heart about how you perceive yourself. That allows you to clear your root chakra. Because again, you can get great healing, but you'll always get reblocked. You just will, because it's like you're not doing it like right. It's like you're going to expect somebody else to come into your life to bring you that happiness, and then they're not going to stay because there's a sense of I don't feel good enough, or I don't know, or I'm afraid, and that makes you a magnet for people that are also afraid. So that's why I'm saying. Then I always think that people should journal a little bit. Journal. Because you don't even know what you feel sometimes during the day. And I feel like you'd be a great writer. I feel like you could put up a great blog. Because again, you're someone deep. You're someone, again, sensitive. You got to utilize those spiritual gifts, and you got to utilize them by grounding them. But the thing is, if you're an island to yourself and you never if you're waiting for someone to just come and give you a life, it's not going to happen, because you want someone to perceive you differently also, because you also didn't like the way that your marriage turned out. So, and that was because that person didn't really treat you the way that they should have. And so understand we're always in charge of that also, right out of the gate. And so if we don't treat ourselves, we don't notice when someone doesn't treat us the way that they should. So, and it's how much time, energy, focus, and money you give when you're over caring, when you're over nice, when you overdo, when you say, I just want to treat this person where they know, listen, they have to earn that. And that might sound mean, but if you get a free sample at the store, do you value that free sample? Not really. It's like, yeah, like I lost it, no big deal. It's like, because it was given. It's like people are creatures of habit. They treat you the way that they treat themselves. So it has nothing to do with you. The illusion is, hey, that person treated me like shit. It's like, but they're not treating Mary like shit. Why don't they treat Mary like shit, but they're treating me like shit? It's like, because look what Mary does. Look how Mary holds herself. Mary acts like, her shit doesn't stink. She doesn't give the person 2 minutes of her time. She acts like she's got other more important things to do. So you're like, well, I don't want to act like a bitch or an asshole. Well, you don't need to. You could be very friendly and say, I'd really love to talk to you, but I really can't because I'm on my way to Tahiti with Juan. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, I will. Where how did you meet Juan? Oh, I joined a traveling group. Oh, you joined a travel, so you travel by yourself? I said I joined a traveling group. It's like, oh, how do you do that? It's like, meaning I invest in myself. I meet people that have common interests, and I have a lot to offer. I know that, but I don't have to sell myself. Now, again, it's that I invest in myself and people get to know me and they take the time to get to know me. But more important, I'm taking the time to get to know me, because if I don't know what I want, then I'm an open field to anybody. So it may sound mean, but it's not mean. It's meaning I respect myself. So you better watch how you approach me. It's like, because people will always try to treat you the way that again, what they get away with. It has nothing to do with you, but you're like too nice. And then again, would again feel bad. And then I don't want you to go from one extreme to another, because you have a second chakra imbalance. And second chakra is individuality. I don't really like what's here because of my life experiences. It's like, because of what my life looks like. And God says, well, that your life is not who you are. It's like, that's you're like, no, but it's a reflection. Spirit says that it's your that's a, earth is a school where you learn. So you are not perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. That's number one. Number two, it's all about you learning how to love yourself first. And that's not the easiest thing to do if you were around a person that didn't make you feel that way. You have to recondition that, which means there were habits and behaviorisms that came from that. It wasn't just a thought. Your mind is your body's faithful servant. It's again, we don't even know what it says. We don't even know how we hold our body, how people read us, how people perceive us. But if you're too nice, it's not, people don't respect you. And so you have to lay the boundary and you have to teach a person. And it has nothing. So that's number two. We can go with the flow of life through getting into the passion of our life. You see, your mind can't be in two places at one time. So you shut that over chatter off. Because hey, I was nervous about the extra $200 that I had, that they raised the rent. But I went to my travel and I met Juan, and he's a good looking guy there, and he was flirting with me, and you know I said that, before I knew it, the rent, and I wound up getting the 200. It was like a miracle. And Spirit says, yeah, you got out of the fucking way. So instead of worry, and then yes, it happened, but by the time it happened, now you have anxiety, now you feel sick, now you have, instead of, again, this is what it means when you let the universe do its job. It doesn't mean that you don't do anything for yourself, because there's no foundation. And because there's no foundation, like I said, it's an island to yourself. So there's a lot of people that, you know, are single. Like, I mean, my husband is in hospice and he's going to die. And when he dies, it's like I will be alone because I don't have family. But my family is actually my community. And so it's not, and that my family is extends out to you people. So yeah, bitches, like all you out there that's watching this, you're my family now. Right? Like, because that's what it is. If I'm putting my time somewhere, that's what it is. And so you have to figure out what that is, so you can build the support Otherwise, how can you go with the flow of life? One bad thing's going to happen, and here you're oversensitive. You're going to have an anxiety that's really bad for the adrenals. That first chakra is again associated with the adrenals. So then now your digestion is messed up, and that is again what normally happens to you. And so then you get anxiety, and so you're all out of balance, and that's what your spirit is like telling you. Oh, yeah, thanks. You know what? It's like, but my dad had cancer 9 times. So it's almost like, yeah, 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 you tell me, but it's like you also told me he'd only have 4 months to live, and now he's got six. He's here for 6 months. So, you know, but right, that's what it is, right, bitches? Like now you're my family. Like, but that's what it is. Your family is where you put your time, and it's how much time, energy, focus, and money. When you look at the magician on a tarot card, that's what that is. When the magician has all the tools it needs to manifest its life. The feeling of lack is what you have because you're an island to yourself. There's no support. And so you're really living that. So you're really believing that, but that's not true. It's that you're not investing in yourself. So you're just going to attract somebody that is, doesn't invest in themselves either. And they're like, I don't know why nothing's happening, you know? So, but yeah, so if the root chakra, and that's why I said, and that would be right now for you to heal that, like I said, is getting up and doing breath work. It's getting up and doing yoga. And listen, everyone's like, "Oh, you access Hindu gods when you do that." I'm not thinking of no Hindu fucking god. All I'm doing is stretching. It's again, use logic. It's like people will pull the shit out of everywhere. It's again, if you do stretching, because your body is stressed out, and so you don't want to be like a board walking around. People sense that, and it makes you not approachable. People perceive you the wrong way. You have to be mindful of your body billboard. What are you telling people? And you want to be present, you want to be interactive, and you don't want to be a doormat. You want to be like, again, if your life is full, where you have your work that you have to work, and then you're creating yourself, and that's through getting strong within your physical body, which I just told you how, and then going on Udemy or again another class, like somewhere that sells classes online relatively cheap, because you're like, I don't know what I want to do, but I'm telling you it's the holistic stuff. You need to do that anyway for yourself, and then you invest. And the thing is, it's like $12 classes when they have flash sales, 19.99. So you get to try it out. Do I like this? Is this something that I would like to do? And if it is, then you have to be consistent. That tends to be the issue, where spirit says, listen, you really got to love what you do. You really got to love what you do. Otherwise, it's going to be like everything's difficult. Where I feel like that energy before, I knew it was like I was like, this is my person. I said, it's like that I'm supposed to do a reading for. This is why I'm having all these problems. It was like, and that's what happens when you're up in your head and you're like trying to figure things out, but you're only coming from what you know, and what you know hasn't been really pleasant. So you have to be able to rely on the higher self. Well, and that's what I said. So now you don't do that. And the way that you do that, even because guess what? Even if you're busy in life, let's just say you have a job and you have some friends and you feel like your life is content, someone comes into your life, now all of a sudden you don't have as much time for your friends. But then it's like eating the same ice cream morning, noon, and night for dinner all the time, all the time, all the time, and that's all you're ever going to have with that one person. And where you say, well, then how does anyone stay in a monogamous relationship? Well, if you're having a love affair in your life and you're having a good time, that you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of yourself because you're investing in yourself. So when you invest in yourself, you're not going to walk around looking like a rag. You're going to pay attention, because the next time you go to whatever class, If you do walk in looking like a rag, you're gonna be like, wow, Marianne showed up and she really looked nice. I boy, I look sheepish, because that's our ego. So you better believe that we're gonna try to look a little bit nicer because we're investing in ourselves. We're gonna hold ourselves different. We're going to, if we're investing in ourselves, then it's not games when I get into a fight with you. If I get into a fight with you because you want to be an asshole and you want to be stubborn, which a lot of times people want to do, they get stuck in there, right? I'm not going to yell with you and reason with you. I'm going to say, you know what? I got to attend to my class. I got to attend to what I'm doing. And then you go out after class. And now this person sits and stews in the fact of that they were an asshole. And I can guarantee by the time you get back, they're going to be different. They're going to be different unless they're really low vibe. And then if they're really low vibe, they're going to want to start an argument with you. And if they want to start an argument with you, then they're just completely low vibe and they need to get out of your life. But if they love you, then they're going to have that time to process the argument. You will have time to process the argument. You'll be able to see things from a different perception. It's about not it's about having so many things in your life that you're passionate about. And yes, you have that one person that you have that passion with. But if that person's the only source of passion, you're fucked. And you're fucked because it's like they're gonna look at you like they're gonna, after a while, people feel like they're a caged animal ready to gnaw their leg off to get out of it, because it's like every day you're always here, you always, and you're doing it to accommodate that person. You're like, but I love you. I want I want to show you how much, but really, this person isn't even doing it for you and back. So, what you're saying is, I don't need it. I don't need it. And if you don't think that that person doesn't know that you don't need it, you're crazy. They definitely know. It's like, but, and if you don't train a person right from the beginning, because God knows if you have a spiritual block where emotionally your parents didn't give you what you needed, you getting somebody that's emotionally handicapped. You are getting someone that, and then in order to deal with that, you can't turn around and say, we're going to have this talk now. Now that I've been with you for a year and we're both comfortable, I'm going to tell you how you don't emote and you're expecting this person to change. It's not going to happen. It's like you have to come in that way where you're making sure that emotionally you give yourself so much that that person has to actually fight for the attention. That's how you really train a person. And it seems wrong, but it's not. It's not, because what you're doing is you're saying, I value myself. And unless you're coming in with an equal value, I don't really have time, because they're not going to handle your life good. And then it would be too difficult. Any person that you really had a desire to connect with, any person that you really had feelings for, it would be almost impossible to get them out of your life, because you'd be like, well, they're my source of love. They're my source of, I want to hang out with them. I want to do that. And that would be normal. So, and that's why I'm saying it's like you want to be able to get fulfilled in a lot of different ways, so that when a person comes into your life, they also see that you invest in yourself and that you have other people in your life, and that those people create support. They're not just there, for a good time. And when people see that you have other people in your life, they tend to respect you also. And it makes your relationship better, because then you go out to dinner with, other couples. So it's not always the same thing. That is always something different. It's exciting. It's like you're living life. You weren't really living life because that person didn't put in the time that they should have, you made the relationship into how good it was. And this person does love you. They're emotionally handicapped. So it's, again, if they're going to repeat the same thing, they're going to continue to get the same thing, but you don't have to. But like I said, you're not going to change your sensitivity, and you're not going to change how you care about someone, and you're not going to change how you treat a person. So you have to change you in order to get that effect. And understand, spirit works through those other things that you are putting your life into. So that also makes it exciting when you're with someone and they're making things happen in their life, that there it's where am I going, what am I doing, your third eye begins to open up. See, like I said, you have a root chakra in balance, so all your chakras are in balance because of that. Because you were in a relationship for a long time where I told you the person didn't give you anything. And you said, yeah, I gave everything. Right. So it's about giving yourself all of that, which is what you gave to this person. And that we wouldn't do that unless we had other passions. The first person that came into our life that was hot, we'd be like, I want to be with them. I don't care. You know, it's like, I don't care. I see the red flags. It's like, I want to be with them. And sometimes that's okay too. If you see the red flags and you're like, I'm going to be with them, as long as you have a lot of other things in your life. Because it's, again, those people will damage your life. It, and when it gets too much, you're able to be like, I don't want this anymore. And it's easy to detach. Otherwise, you can't detach, because those trauma bonds are how that happens. And I feel like that's what you kind of relived. Whatever comes. Well, I think it's about, what I'm trying to explain to you is that when you're living in your life and you're investing in your life, people come into your life, and but they're coming into your life as seeing you in a way where you're investing in yourself. So not somebody that doesn't do anything. So you're going to expect a certain level of respect. It's like, and I say that because I see a lot of people that just live safe. They don't live, but their life is pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. They go to work, they have a few friends, but their time is usually spent watching TV, Netflix, or maybe going to the gym a little bit. But the real passion, so they get into a relationship, and that relationship is what becomes their source of passion. And what I'm telling you is, it can't be. You have to have other passions in your life before you meet that person, because that's what's going to create the balance in your life. That's also a lot of times how you can meet a person. That's also, you have a common interest, and relationships are something that happen over time. So because you have a second chakra imbalance, because you have a first chakra imbalance, trust is an issue. So you're like, I don't really know if I can trust myself. Spirit says you can if you train your nervous system and you get balanced in your life, because you're a highly sensitive person. So you have good discernment. But it's not about one or the other, Kim. It's about finding balance. That's your walk. It's not like, that's why I'm saying, it's like, I I detached on him. Yes, but it's not, I feel like you detached after you gave everything, because you finally was like, I was exhausted myself. And this person was detached because they were there to begin with, because here it is, there you're giving, you're giving, and you're not getting it back. And what if this person was emotional, they would feel bad, and they would have. It was like they weren't present. And that's what happened. Yes, after a while you detached because of that. He was always that way. And that's why you never got what you needed, is what I'm trying to say. And I feel like that is the karmic um like lesson. And it's really about healing your detachment. And that's through, again, getting better connected to the body. Yeah, of course you did. It was like, first of all, you did. And that's why there was love. It's not like there wasn't any love. You wouldn't have been in any type of relationship. Karmics are not 100% bad. There's a lot of times, there's a lot of really great moments, there's really great chemistry, there's instantaneous knowing. That's why it's hard. It's hard because it's like, I really do love you, but it's like I don't like this. And so because it keeps me stuck in like a childhood trauma, or a past trauma that I have, that and it hurts. So it's like, and that, but then in order to not keep attracting the same thing, which is I would be afraid that you would be like, oh, I'm so afraid now, like to even date, or eventually, or I know eventually I'll date, but I don't really know when, and I don't want you to be nervous about it. I'd like, I want you to be like just in a way to be like really enjoying yourself, getting strong within yourself, and getting better connected to your body, and getting better connected to the physical world, because this is what that root chakra means. When people are like, oh, it's a root chakra imbalance, it's like, yeah, but it's better connected to your physical body, because up in the head a lot, it's better connected to the physical world. And that's not just the resources. Understand, the resources come when you're better connected to the world. So you may be like, I don't really know my path, but you would if you were invested in yourself. Eventually, your own intuition would be like, my God, look, I went to this yoga studio and Mary Jane was there, and Mary Jane owns a candy shop, and I've always wanted to make taffy. And look at this. I hired, and did you move you? You did not move you. Spirit moved you, because spirit knew that you needed a job. Spirit knew what you wanted, but there's little bit of lack of faith, and that, understand, that happens too, because it's a faith walk. There's a reason why it's called that. It's like, because we have to believe, and it only takes a mustard seed. God makes that multiply. So you have to get in your body. You got to get strongly connected to your body. And then, like I said, you have to be like childlike. That's healing that second chakra. You can go with the flow and find that balance, and being guided by gut, intuition, inner knowing, to give and receive of love through your free will, what you love. It's like, I just love this. You always like basket weaving? Yeah, I just love this. I lose myself there. And now I opened a whole basket weaving factory. It's like, if you can imagine it, you can create it. And so it's, again, this is your spiritual sovereignty. And then your third eye opens. Your third eye is that. Well, that's why I'm saying, it's like, I want you to be curious where you're investing in yourself. It's like, and that, because once you do that, you're going to know what you want to do more from embodying it. I'm telling you, I already told you what I see. However, highly sensitive people need to embody it. Just because we tell somebody, it's, again, I know that it's like, yeah, I could see that, but maybe there's other things. But that's why I said you're in a place where you're not supposed to know. You're supposed to be, again, getting better acquainted to yourself, kind of like reprogramming things from childhood, because it's like, well, I already learned the lessons from being in this relationship. And Spirit says, unfortunately, the lesson is fully learned when you go through the experience again and handle it differently. That's what real transmutation is. So that means the person comes into your life and you notice that they're detached, because now you're very involved in your life, and you're like, this person's not for me, because I'm not putting up with it. I don't make excuses for it. I'm not the same person where I just want to sit home on the couch, and it's okay that I'm not really that easygoing anymore, because I like to do what I want to do. It's like, whatever, it's that you changed, but you became more balanced. You didn't say, oh, I need to change, and now I'm gonna like pretend to change. You really changed. And that's why I'm saying I went through the chakras with you, because it's those, you were out of balance. So it's like, would you get a job? Of course you get a job. Would you be happy? No. Like, because you'd be afraid. Eventually you would be afraid. It's like, where, oh, there's not enough money and this and that. So again, you were just out of balance, because of, I was in this relationship. I did learn from it, the relationship. It's not that you didn't. However, when you go through an experience and you already know what it feels like, and now you got to go out, eventually, you are going to want to date again. you know that eventually, whether it's today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, the time doesn't make a difference. The behaviorisms will stay the same. That's why people tend to say, well, I'm not going to date for a long time. And then they finally get back into a relationship and the same shit happens again. It's because of that. That's the only reason why I'm telling you. It's not because I don't think that you've done work. I know that you've done a lot of work. And it's not that it didn't take courage for you to leave. It did. It's not, it's to just so that I can show you how to live through a different perception. Because again, there's many different ways to be. There's many different levels of uh, layers of reality that play at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on what you do. So, as an advisor, as a healer, like again, these readings are a lot of times not just yes or no, because when they're like this, when they're personal readings, because again, you're out of balance. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you exactly how to set yourself up for success, where you can connect to your own higher self and how you can, again, see the changes in your life. And so that you can then attract the right type of person into your life, or at least recognize when the wrong ones come into your life without, you know, having anxiety, and to feel protected so you can date, because you're not an island to yourself. It's like all those things create confidence, and people that are confident, that alone weeds out a lot and brings and attracts positive energy, right? Because you're out and about and you're confident. People, again, they feel like it's a high vibe energy and they want to connect to you, and that's how other opportunities open up for you. And that's why you're not supposed to know right now everything. Right now it's really about reprogramming to, like, what this person did, how this person made you feel, how you were living, and so that you can again attract a strong person. And then I see a lot of traveling for you. I feel like you're going to travel a lot. And I also feel like you're going to do something within the holistic arts. I feel like you'd be great in the nutrition part. Spirit said that before. But that could be like a holistic doctor. Again, because you love that detail and you like to learn. It's not like you don't. So I feel like it's all about that right now. And yes, eventually you're gonna get into a relationship, but then you'll be gonna be strong. And remember, a lot relies on how you meet that person in the beginning and how they perceive you. And that is going to determine on how you teach them. And so you just, if there were 8 slices of pizza in your pizza pie, they should only be getting like a half a slice in the beginning. It's like, because you don't want to tell everything about yourself. I never understand this. People get into a relationship, they tell everything about themselves to the person that they start dating with, and then that person uses all of that against them. And they're like, what really hurts me, I hear this all the time, what really hurts me is I told him what happened in my past relationship, and then he did the same thing, or she did the same thing. And it's again because of that. So you never want, it's like, you want to be in my life, you want to know about me, you have to invest in me. Otherwise, I'm too busy. It's like, and that's otherwise, if every time a person calls and you make time for them, they get a swelled head. It's like they don't appreciate you. And you'd be like, I don't talk to this person a lot. And it's mainly because that person is the one that reaches out to you once every month. And you're always making, conversation, even though you're like, well, only when they reach out. Well, that's, again, the person is only giving you that much, and look what they think. It's their perception, it's not yours. And so not everyone thinks the way that you do or is as kind as you are. And that's what I said. So your reading opened up with, you're a very highly sensitive person. And that's a good thing. But if it's not mastered, it can bring you down. And I think that you're right, like doing more stuff like that, like driving to California on your own to visit your sons, and having like, and finding yourself. Just taking the time, because once you really know what you like, you're going to invest time there, and then things begin to open up. So that's not the issue. It's about getting strong within yourself while that happens. Because and you do that not just physically, but when you're doing those spiritual exercises, you're actually training your mind. You are training your body. You're training everything all at the same time. And that's why it said when I went to holistic health school that we had a practice of yoga before we learned anything. And I would be like, why do we have to do this? Because I hate yoga. I like fast. And that's why I need yoga. But and I force myself to work out, but I don't enjoy it. It's like I force it because that's again, you know that it's good. I once I do it, I feel good and I'm happy, but actually getting my ass there, I wouldn't go unless I had a trainer. I'm that way. I need someone that's going to hold me accountable. But it's important, and so much so within if like highly sensitive people are going to sabotage themselves. That's the way that they sabotage themselves. They get in their own way. They give too much of their power away to other people. They care too much, where they become the victim and they don't really understand how they became the victim. And that's why I said to have those other passions in your life brings other people. And that also allows you to see yourself differently. And that allows you to, again, really know who you are. So, I mean, I do see, yeah, I see you traveling a lot. I see like I right now I feel like a not really a great job, I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like it's not supposed to happen though. That's why in your reading, Spirit's saying it's like that's not supposed to happen. It's like the job and settled because you don't know who you are. You just got out of something. And it wasn't a good something, to be honest with you. So it's about rediscovering yourself, having a love affair with yourself so that you can figure it out and get confident in yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to be afraid that people tend to disguise themselves in different ways. We feel like, well, I went to a different place. I did this. I did that. If that's changing all exterior things will not change what you attract. Trust me. The only way is to change yourself. And that's why I'm saying it's like, that's why the time is this. It's like, again, finding yourself, but also doing things the right way so that when the time comes, like I said, you're going to meet the right people, the right situations, because they're going to be in the same vibration as you. And if they're not, they won't be able to raise to your vibration. And the reason why is because a needy person, a user that comes into your life that pretends that they really care, doesn't have time for you to actually be investing more in yourself than them. They want someone, they go for someone that they can see the potential, but that isn't doing enough for themselves. You see? So they're not, they usually won't even approach you. Or if they approach you, they're going to try, but they're not going to be consistent and you're not going to waste your time. So these are all like ways to protect yourself when you're like, oh, I don't know why these people, or I can't tell who, and everyone's a liar. And it's, well, if you invest in yourself, you're not gonna, it's not that you won't meet a liar, because you can meet liars anywhere. However, you'll meet people that are also investing in themselves that don't want to lie, that want to be in a relationship. The first rule is to keep an untroubled pride. The second is to look things in the face and see them for what they. Yeah, exactly. And the way that you can do that is, like I said, I just feel like by really grounding. Because sometimes when we really have to look things in the face, we see stuff that we don't really like, you know? So that's why. But I feel like in the next year, it's going to be, I feel like you're going to have a lot of fun in actuality. I feel like this summer, you're going to let loose, believe it or not. And it's not, I don't feel a super ton of traveling right away, but I do see traveling. And I think that that's what it is right now. It's like, you're where you're supposed to be. It's just spirit would like you to heal that root chakra more, which is connection to the physical body, the physical world, all physical elements of the physical world, and your adrenals. To look at your adrenals. And so, again, highly sensitive people have problems with anxiety and depression and sleep issues and overthinking. So that's where the lifestyle practice comes into play, because that's what spirit's saying. That person's not strong within themselves, they're not grounded enough. So you got to do those things, set yourself up for success. And like I said, you're where you're supposed to be. Now, do you have any questions? And how did you like your reading? I'm glad that I finally got to be on. I'm sorry about before, but that was, I think, felt like that's your energy right now, a little bit like all over the place. There's always like a delay, like. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to, you can ask me before I wind down. And I will be doing a Scorpio reading. And if you guys are attached to a Virgo, you might want to check out my Virgo channel, as well as my Psychic Soul Healer channel. I didn't have time to fill out the information because, like I said, I was already running a half an hour late in the description box. But I will. I'm going to go back when I end this to fill out everything. It's just like I said, the computer went, and then like, I actually didn't go. It just wouldn't, like the sound. I was on. But does anyone have any questions? And Kim, you satisfied with your reading? Do you want to know anything else? I know. Is there like a commercial going on right now? Hello? Your sessions give me a lot of strength and stuff. So good. Thank you so much, A. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Does anyone have any questions? Again, going to be doing, choosing winners all the time, but the readings are like, again, a little bit different. They're not just gonna they're gonna tell you where your blocks are, what you need to do to heal. Thank you so much. I like for the channels to be more like a healing style channel, because there's a lot of people that wind up in relationships that just, like being in a relationship that where the person makes you feel like shit really can make you, not walk from your truth. It's very easy. We don't realize that it's our environment that creates our reality, because we form behaviorisms that support our survival in those specific, you know, things. So if we're like in a very imbalanced environment with someone that's abusive or someone that's toxic, it's like healing is not just about healing the mind, it's about reconditioning the body. It's about recreating your life, because you have to create new neurological pathways within your mind. And we all go in and out of consciousness. I mean, it's a normal part of life. We all daydream. So it's really important to like understand that in healing is the full integration process. The reading helped me greatly. I feel blessed. Thank you so much, Kim. I'm so glad that it helped you. I mean, I know that you're going to do great. And I know next time when you come back, I can actually then pull some cards on an actual maybe relationship or job or something. But right now, everything is where you're supposed to be. And you should be proud of yourself for how far that you've come, and actually everything that you had to go up against, to be where you are. And it's almost like a second chance, and it's a beautiful thing, and while your kids are old enough too, right? That you get to actually have this time by yourself. I like that. So I'm glad and thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. And Santiago, thank you. I appreciate the feedback. I'm gonna have more and more live streams. You're gonna see right now my husband's in hospice, so it's a little bit touch and go trying to fit in everything because it's like between nurses and my own emotional process. It's a lot. But I know your mind can't be in two places at one time. The hell is that? How bizarre. That was so weird. Okay, as I said that, I just wanted you to know like a window popped up on my computer and blocked my thing. I was like, okay, is that spirit telling me to wind down? What? From your notes? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like what the fuck? But I am going to be on more, and this channel just became monetized, so I will be offering my psychic soul shadow healing coaching program for just $7.99 a month. This is where I have like open forum where it's like we do pick a session, we do learn about shadow healing. Thank you so much, I appreciate that, seeker. But where we do also oracle spreads, but we learn all the healing modalities to heal the effects of trauma, because you have to recondition your nervous system when you've gone through any type of trauma. It's like anxiety comes from the fact that when you live in survival, you're always trying to protect yourself. And so you actually tend to look for things to feel safe. But if you're looking for things to be safe, you're always going to recreate the same undesired life experience. You're not actually protecting yourself. Protecting yourself is comes from the fact of listening to your gut only in the now, when you get divine guidance to act from that space only in the now, which is not easy to do when you have anxiety, because again your mind is already focused on that, fixated on it. So it really is a process, and when we don't heal over time, physical manifestations happen. So there I do bring in sometimes a lot of different holistic health things because, like I said, I saw firsthand. My father had cancer 9 times. I saw what happens when you have trauma and you don't heal it. You attract the same undesirable life experiences. You relive the same karmic themes that keep you in a place of limitation. And when you're in survival mode for that long, your blood gets so acidity that you grow bone over bone, where you get that rheumatoid arthritis where hands are like this. That's how my father's hands looked after a while, and they were like all like swollen and bones from the nervous system, from worrying. He did never showed it. He internalized it and he drank. He suppressed it. So without actually transmuting those spiritual blocks, you never learn your gifts. That's actually energy that can be used for manifestation. It actually, like I said, it creates cancer. And cancer is just, again, a way that really Spirit says it's a timeout time to do reflection. So a lot of times people don't understand what the spiritual disease is. Thank you so much, A. So, you know, it's important to know how, trauma plays out within our lives, and it plays out definitely within our relationships. You know that from my readings, and it also plays out within our finances. So, within your situation, Kim, it would have played out within your finances where you'd always be like, I don't really have that much money. It's like where, again, money really has no energy except for the energy that we give it. And so when you do what you love, it winds up coming. So it's always about investing in yourself, finding what you love. And when you get into that vibration of that, you don't want to just give your time to anybody because you're like, well, it feels so good when I'm, connecting. to the people that are like minded. And when I'm actually seeing things happen, why would I put my mind anywhere else? Unless, again, the outside thing is bringing me just as much joy and just as much fulfillment. And if it's a person that's not, well, it's kind of really easy to not have them in your life. So I just wanted to put that out there. And if you are a Virgo, or again, Psychic Soul Healer channel, you can check out that channel. No one checks out that channel. I don't know why no one checks out that channel. It's an all zodiac page. No one likes to look at all zodiac pages. My Virgo channel does well. So if you're connected to a Virgo, definitely check out that channel. Well, thank you so much for, being on the channel and supporting the channel. And I'm going to be on doing more live streams as we get further and further down the line. I just need to fill out the channel and the different perks and everything and do everything, which I haven't done. I've been kind of tardy. So I'm glad that you guys have been patient with me, because a lot of times I don't even get to the comments till a day or two later, but I always get to them and I always read every single one. So thank you and keep them coming. And thank you for sharing your energy with me today. I'm going to run, but I will be on again soon. I'm trying to pick winners every day, and I will have a reading up for you later today. And thank you, Kim, for being my winner, and thank you, everyone else, for sharing your energy with me today. Love you. Bye. Thank you.